Thick, rich commercial plant yogurts often come with an astronomical markup, but you can replicate that exact density at home for pennies on the dollar. To produce a premium, dairy-free Greek yogurt, you only need 2 ingredients and strict temperature control. The objective is to introduce live bacteria into a thin plant milk. Those bacteria consume the ambient sugars and convert the liquid into a dense, probiotic-rich solid. Once you understand the mechanics of this fermentation process, you completely bypass the premium grocery aisle. Step 1 requires exactly 1 liter of unflavored, unsweetened soy milk. This molecular diagram compares soy milk to almond milk. Almond and oat milks feature sparse protein groupings, lacking the structural density required to coagulate. On your soy milk's nutrition label, look for at least 3% protein. This concentration guarantees a thick final yield. Next, you need a biological catalyst, 60 grams of live culture plant yogurt for the initial bacteria. Combining the correct protein density with active bacteria ensures the milk sets, preventing a watery result. For the equipment, gather glass jars, lids, a whisk, a mixing bowl, and a spoon. Place all of these items into an oven preheated to 140 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Any ambient bacteria lingering on your tools will multiply during the incubation phase, outcompete your yogurt cultures, and spoil the batch. Creating a perfectly sterile environment guarantees that only the bacteria you introduce will grow. Pour the liter of soy milk into a large saucepan and begin slowly heating it. Monitor the temperature carefully. Your target is 80 degrees Celsius, stopping the heat just before the milk reaches a simmer. In this diagram, you can see how the heat alters the soy protein. As the thermal indicator rises, the coiled protein chains unravel and extend into straight lines, while the heat sanitizes the fluid. Hitting this precise thermal threshold enables the uncoiled proteins to network together, providing the physical structure needed to trap moisture and thicken during the cooling phase. Turn off the heat and cover the pot immediately. This blocks a tough protein skin from forming on the surface. Now the milk must cool. You need the temperature to drop to a precise survival target of 48 degrees Celsius. Warning tone. If you rush this phase and introduce your live cultures to milk above 50 degrees, the heat instantly kills the probiotics. Once the milk hits 48 degrees, begin the inoculation. In your sterile bowl, whisk the 60 grams of starter culture with a splash of the warm milk until perfectly smooth. Then, whisk this smooth bacterial slurry back into the main pot of temperature-safe milk. Respecting this narrow thermal survival window determines whether you cultivate active yogurt or simply leave a pot of spoiled milk on your counter. Pour the inoculated milk into your sterilized jars and seal the lids tightly. To thrive, the bacteria require an environment that is consistently dark, deeply insulated, and warm. Wrap the jars securely in a heavy towel or blanket. Place them near a heat source, like a radiator, and leave them undisturbed for 12 to 16 hours. Providing this steady incubation time gives the microscopic culture the conditions it needs to physically weave the liquid into a solid network. On day 2, perform a quick physical check. A slight tilt of the jar should reveal a firm jiggle, confirming the milk has successfully set into a pudding-like solid. To achieve a thick Greek-style texture, you have to mechanically drain away the excess liquid, known as whey. This cross-section illustrates the hardware setup, a catchment bowl at the base, holding an inner colander lined with layers of cheesecloth to cradle the yogurt. Transfer the set yogurt into the cloth. Cover it tightly with plastic wrap and refrigerate it overnight so gravity can pull the whey down into the bowl. This passive physical separation concentrates the flavor and leaves you with an ultra-dense texture. By morning, gravity has concentrated that 1 liter of milk into roughly 420 grams of dense product. You are left with an ultra-thick cream cheese-like consistency, ideal for heavy breakfast bowls or savory dips like tzatziki. Before you consume it, extract exactly a 1/4 cup to save in the fridge. This reserved portion acts as the starter culture for your next batch. By mastering bacterial cultivation and protein coagulation, you secure a continuous, self-sustaining cycle of premium dairy-free food.